We are officially back into earnings season. The market is still looking for direction coming off last week's absolute barrage of key inflation-related data, which we do get a break from this week. We'll instead shift our focus to quarterly earnings reports coming through from the likes of Netflix, Tesla, and more from the banking sector, including BAC, Goldman Sachs, along with closely watched regional banks coming through as well. The week ahead preview right now. The week kicks off with earnings back in focus after we officially launched into the new earnings season on Friday with JP Morgan and Wells Fargo. We'll get reports from Schwab, State Street, and MTB before the market opens on Monday. With all the chaos in recent weeks surrounding the regional banks specifically, close attention will be paid to each of these reports for signs of further uncertainty in the sector. Schwab, for example, saw a nearly 40% decline and lost 40% of its value, got wiped right off the board during the initial SIVB and Signature Bank failures. Most analysts are expecting back-to-back quarterly declines and numbers to the downside from the investment bank, with most EPS estimates in the range of 90 cents to 95 cents. Most regional banks are set to report within the first 2 weeks of earnings season. This group could move with a larger than expected miss from any of them. We'll keep them in mind. Let's go on to Tuesday. It's set to be a busy session with earnings back in the spotlight as well. Full slate, in fact, beginning pre-market with more banks coming through. We'll hear from the likes of BAC, another regional as well, with BK, Goldman Sachs, and even JNJ, Johnson & Johnson, all on the docket. Goldman shares are always volatile around earnings dates. Last week, the investment bank saw several leadership changes come through in its global equities trading business, which occurred after one of the division's top earners left, going back to last month. Overall, most analysts are expecting a positive report and earnings beat from the investment bank. Also then in the pre-market, we'll get the latest reading on March building permits along with housing starts, both coming through at 8:30 Eastern. During the session then, we'll keep Boeing shares on watch. The plane maker is set to host its annual shareholder meeting coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll watch for any comments coming through from the virtual event that will see as many as 12, count them, 12 new board members named. All right, let's go to after the close then. Traders will be watching Netflix shares as the company is set to report its latest results. It will be the first report since the streaming giant announced and implemented new measures aimed at eliminating password sharing and also update investors on recent global price cuts that have been announced. Along with Netflix then, we'll look to earnings from UAL, United coming through with their latest earnings, and Western Alliance also set to report, another one from the banking sector. On to Wednesday we go, set to be the biggest earnings day of the week with tradable opportunities both pre-market and after the close of trading. We'll have chip makers in focus to start as Amsterdam-listed ASML will report early morning on Wednesday. Not necessarily a stock we watch on a daily basis for trading opportunities in the U.S., but the report could influence how the overall chip sector does move that session. ASML shares are up 20% this year, and a break of January's highs could see a move back to all-time highs for that stock. We'll also get MS earnings then Wednesday morning, along with more regional banks coming through as well. U.S. Bancorp is set to report. The stock has lost 29% of its value since the banking crisis began. MS shares could provide us with trading opportunities heading into its latest report. Most analysts are expecting a miss from the bank. The consensus EPS estimate right now for the quarter has most recently been revised 3.84% lower over the last 30 days from its current level. We're pretty light then on the economic calendar Wednesday. As always, we'll watch at 10:30 the weekly EIA, Energy Information Association crude oil inventories data to come through. During the session then, there's one notable investor event that could provide volatility. Snap shares will be on watch as the company is set for its 5th annual Snap Partner Summit, set to get underway at 1 p.m. Eastern. Focus then shifts to after the close with AA, IBM, and the big one, Tesla, all set to come through with their earnings reports. Tesla shares will be by far the most closely watched by traders, coming off a 5th price cut announcement in recent weeks for the year. More expansion plans still dominating headlines as well for the company. Most analysts are expecting another impressive report from the EV maker. However, as we've seen in recent quarters, a positive report from the company does not always result in positive movement for the stock. Most analysts are expecting another beat, though, from Elon's EV monster. On to Thursday we go then, a jam-packed economic calendar to get things going on Thursday morning. We'll kick it off at 8:30 with initial jobless claims, the April Philly Fed manufacturing, employment, and prices paid numbers all coming through at 8:30 as well. The initial jobless claims data has once again gained significance and provided market moves, with most participants paying close attention to the underlying strength in the overall employment market as it continues to weigh heavily on high inflation. The past two readings, however, have shown higher claims on a week-over-week basis, indicating more applying for jobless benefits. At 10 a.m. then, March existing home sales come through along with the Conference Board's leading index. On the earnings front, pre-market Thursday, we're set for more airlines and banks to report. Alaska Airline comes through, American Express and BANC, along with KeyBank and the semi-named TSM, all among notable pre-market earnings names. AXP shares could be on the move once again, with the stock still holding on to about a 10% gain so far year to date. Most analysts covering AXP are expecting a beat, with EPS in the range of $2.11 through $2.15 per share. The consensus, that's up from what they reported last quarter, which was $2.09 per share. Just like that, it's Friday already. Economic data will be back in focus shortly after the market opens. We'll get the S&P Global Manufacturing Composite and Services PMI numbers. Again, that's at 9:45. Last month, data showed business activity from the Purchasing Managers Index accelerated unexpectedly. Another positive print in that fashion could see further upside for the overall market. Few earnings names to keep in mind set to report before the open on Friday as well. We'll hear from Freeport, McMoran, FCX, Economic Bellwether, Procter & Gamble, and the last regional bank of the week to come through with RF as well. Another jam-packed week awaits. As always, we'll bring you all the action live daily on TraderTV.Live.